Hey everybody, Mike McWilliams upstairs to the right music. So today I was going through the process of cleaning up my recording studio, and I laid out my meager collection of effects pedals. Certainly, you know, when you go on YouTube you see cats that, you know, this would be just one pedal board that they have. So not a, you know, a huge collection of pedals. But as you know from watching this channel, that I'm more into the performance of the amp. In my case, 1x12 combo amps that I love, and some of the amp heads that I have as well, in order to achieve the sound that I'm looking for. So I'm not really, I never was a big pedal guy. I never will be. And even with this collection of pedals, some may say it's a lot, some may say it's nothing. It depends upon your point of view. From my point of view, it's actually too many. And why do I say that? I say that because I really only use one or two of these. And the two that I use mostly, one of them is a recent addition to my collection here, and that happens to be this one right here, the Dan Electro Breakdown. This is based off of a Dallas Rangemaster, which is essentially a, you know, a boost pedal. So all it's going to do is just going to accentuate the sound of your amp, whatever that sound is. And, you know, I love this pedal. I found that this is my answer to, you know, what people were basically using before. Like, this is a copy of a Klon. So this is a Klon Archer Silver. This was made in conjunction with Rocket Audio Designs with the guy Bill Flanagan. Yeah, Bill Flanagan. I'm sorry for butchering his name, who created the original Klon. This also is a boost pedal, you know, and I always like the sound of this one, but I have to tell you, and also here we have a very, you know, I won't say a cheap Chinese-made copy of a Klon boost pedal, because actually this one is pretty cool. I'd have to say that, you know, if you were to put these two up head to head, you'd be hard pressed. Maybe a few slight nuanced differences, but anyway, as you can see, I'm really into boost pedals. So this one really does the ticket for me. This is, if I had to get rid of all of these pedals, well, I need my tuner, but but if I were to get rid of all of these pedals that you see in front of you, this and had to make a choice of one, I would say this one right here, the Dan Electro with the Breakdown. Because, as you know, I put a lot of time and expense into customizing my 1x12 combo amps in order to achieve a vintage classic sound. And I don't, you know, need to, you know, this is a cool, you know, this Royal Albert Hall, which is a, you know, interesting pedal, but I don't need this. You know, I can make, between my modified Laney and this Rangemaster copy, this Dan Electro Breakdown, I can do this pedal, you know, and a whole lot more. So, you know, maybe if I were to have a second choice, I would have to go with this Marshall Blues Breaker pedal. Now, this is the original Marshall's Blues Breaker pedal. Yeah, this one maybe, yeah, I couldn't give up on this one, because this also is a boost pedal, but it has an interesting sound to it that I can't get from the Dan Electro. So yeah, I have to say that of all these pedals that I have here, and you know, of course I already own, as a matter of fact, let's go over and take a look at it. So you can see over here, I have an Echoplex. This is a 1973. So really, yeah, so that kind of makes these two redundant. Sure, these are cleaner sounding than the original, but you know, like Marvin Gaye said, ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. Got a couple of fuzz pedals here. You know, I've been talking about this Mr. Moto. This is a great pedal here, but I don't use a lot of tremolo, and I don't record using a lot of reverb. I really bought this just to act as a in conjunction with my modified Vox that we did in the last show. We talked about that in the last show. Yeah, I bought the compressor sustainer. I don't use it because I don't like putting compression on my signal. This S1 is an interesting pedal. You know, again, it's just like this Joyo American, where this is a Marshall in a box. Yeah, it's an amp in a box kind of pedal. You know, EQ, you know, is a very interesting thing to have sometimes. You know, particularly when you get that kind of, this is rough, but when you cut out that lows and boost those mids, and you know, it gives you that Van Halen sound. Useful, but not very practical for me, because I'm not trying to sound like Van Halen. I mean, not just that, but you know, you can also just keep it flat and knock up this volume and use it as a boost when you want to do a solo or something like that. But I don't do live shows anymore. I haven't for a while yet, and unfortunately, with the way things are looking, I don't know the future of live shows for anybody else, for that matter. But strictly from a recording viewpoint, I have to say, of my small, you know, collection of, you know, fuzzes, I've got delays, I got distortion. This right here is a, you will never find, this was a custom shop, Japanese custom shop made distortion pedal, beautiful sound. Don't use it a lot. Just, you know, again, like I said, you know, if I want to go distortion, I just run my guitar into this breakdown, then run it into my Laney, and I have every kind of distortion sound that you could possibly, from a slight distortion to a heavy one. I'd be very interested to hear how this sounds on the Vox. I might do a show on that coming up, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, out of all these pedals, here we have, again, I think I've showed this to you before. This is a Watson Classic. This is really highly sought after pedal because they don't make these anymore. About 10 years ago, they stopped making these. These are moving slowly into the category of the clones, you know, except for that's a copy, this is the real thing. If you're really looking for that Univox, you know, that old school kind of fuzz tone, these are awesome for that. But again, if I had to get rid of all of this stuff, the one pedal that I see myself constantly using is this Dan Electro Breakdown, and sometimes this original Mark I version of the Blues Breaker. So anyway, just a quick show today. Just thought that I would talk about my pedals and what I actually use in recording. I won't sell any of these. I like to have them around. Maybe somebody will come to the studio and do some recording, and they're looking for a particular sound, and I'd like to at least have one of whatever. I like to have a fuzz. I like to have a wah. You know, I haven't even gotten to my wah pedal. Where is that? Oh, that's a heavy mocker. Let's go get that. Yeah, so, yeah, gotta have, you know, a wah, and that I've modified. I've actually opened this up and done some modifications to it. The Mod Tone Vintage wah. Not expensive wah, but actually to do modifications that get your own wah sound. I think I've used that as a demonstration on one of the shows in the past, so you can check that out. But yeah, I've got one of every type of sound that you want. I'm still waiting for my Lemon Drop, which again is a custom shop made pedal made by one guy like this Watson. But you know, who knows when that'll show up. Hopefully one of these days it will. But in reality, yeah, out of all these pedals, if I had to get rid of all of them, and the only one that I use consistently when I'm recording is actually this Dan Electro Breakdown, and I've only had this for less than a year. I think about a year now, and I've found that I can't go without it for doing recording. So just to let you know what I use, where I'm at, I thought some of you might find that interesting. In any case, that's today's show. I hope you guys are taking care of yourself. I hope you're well, and please take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.